Walking away from a toxic job is a luxury, especially when you don't have a backup plan. Not everybody has a support system. Not everybody has family or a loved one that will help them through the difficult times of not having a job while they go look for a healthy work environment. It is a lot easier said than done when you tell somebody, how are you still working at that toxic job? Why don't you just go get another job? Yes, you can throw your resume out there. You can definitely find a healthier work environment, but they don't have the option to say, I'm not going to deal with this anymore. I'm quitting.
The worst thing about working in a toxic work environment is what it does to your self-esteem. You get out of a place like that, it can take months or longer to feel back in your power, to feel strong again. A toxic work environment is one that is ruled by fear. It runs on fear. They always want you to be afraid of everything, like you're going to get in trouble. You're going to get a bad performance review. You missed your metrics. Make it all about fear so that you don't say, wait a minute, why am I even working here? And so that you do not have the emotional energy.
Have you ever dreaded going to work? Not just because of the workload, but because of the environment itself. Maybe it's the tension in the air, or the constant negativity, or the feeling that you might be walking on eggshells around certain people. If this sounds familiar, then you might be dealing with a toxic work environment. Good day. I want to start by acknowledging something most of us have experienced, but often hesitate to talk about it openly, and that is toxic work environment. Whether it's a culture of negativity, poor communication, feeling undervalued, this situation can drain our energy and affect not just our professional lives, but also our personal well being too. So, if you're ready to reclaim your peace of mind, let's get started. In this video, we are going to explore how people not only cope with toxic work environments, but also how they overcome them. I'll be sharing practical tips, real stories, emotional insights on how to navigate these challenges. First off, let's define what a toxic work environment look like. It's not just having a tough boss or having a tight deadline. These are parts of many job. Toxicity goes deeper. Recognizing these signs is the first step because naming it helps us address it. Many people internalize this issue thinking they are the problem when it's the environment that is unhealthy. It manifests through persistent negativity and gossip, high turnover rates and burnout, unclear expectation and poor communication, lack of support from leadership, bullying, discrimination, and favoritism. Now, let's take a look at how people share their stories about their toxic workplace. Let's get into it.
Quick story on how I overcame workplace bullying, but before I get started, look at this. You see that? Isn't that crazy? So anyways, I joined the company. I was handpicked, selected, recruited, went through a decently brief process, joined the company, and I guess the rest of them had to work harder or something. I don't know. Not my problem that I was more qualified or well qualified. So I don't know what to say about that. So I joined the company, and from jump, they don't like me. It's not that they met me or saw parts of my personality that they just didn't like me because of how I was recruited. And the reason I know that is because one of my peers, before she left the role and eventually left the company, told me to my face, my virtual face, that the reason that they were withholding information from me to keep me from being successful. That's a form of bullying in a hostile work environment. You are intentionally trying to sabotage me. She told me that. Secondly, one of my direct reports wanted my job before I obviously came and wanted it bad. Oh my God, bad. And she tried to drive me out. Straight up, just exactly what it was. She had campaigned people before I walked through the virtual doors and joined the company. She had campaigned people to try to get the job, tried to make skip level and triple skip, upward relationships. None of it resulted in her getting the job. So she would make things up about me. So I joined a one-on-one one time, virtually, obviously, because we all were remote, stapled a packet of paper, set it off to the side, and carried on about my day. And eventually that turned into me being completely distracted and incompetent. I was mad, heated, on fire, hot. I told my boss, you got me fucked up. Like, I'm a grown ass man. Let's let's start there. So then thirdly, I had a peer. I'm not sorry. She's a treacherous human being. She treats people so poorly. She thinks that she is just it makes me sick to my stomach. Like, she's just a nasty person. And I do not talk about people like this. I view myself as a decent human being, but she treats people like shit. So long story short, she would steal my ideas and count it as her own. She would try her hardest to make it seem as if I was underperforming. Obviously, none of that worked or was real or realistic. Because if it takes 2 months to lead an initiative or handle a project, to put it that way, and I'm on week 2, how the fuck am I underperforming? Oh, okay. You're just trying your hardest to rally a reason and people around the fact that you just don't like me. And that's okay. It's okay. So I wrote a 15-page paper. I had screenshots, documents. I mean, it was an essay. A dissertation, if you will, on why you shouldn't give me every reason to this day to sue you, because I still can. And I still can. And if I wanted to, I would. And I might. Hell, might as well. So anyways, you need to give me every reason why I shouldn't sue you. 15 pages, screenshots, images, verbatims, exchange, all the things. It was fun writing that. I thought I was an attorney for a second. Long story short, all of them were either moved to a different role out of pity or were terminated. And yes, it was a rough period for me, but in the end, I was perfectly fine, and still to this day am perfectly fine. It's just so funny how the people who prey on you the most are usually mediocre themselves.
I just dedicated 3 years of my life to a company that I plan to retire with. I had my life roughly mapped out until retirement around this job. I was committed. I loved my job. And here I am now making this video because I'm fucking mad. And I think we all should be mad. This is happening entirely too often. I genuinely thought that I was just a one-off person getting bullied at work until I started reaching out to friends because my mental health was so deteriorated, I didn't know what to do. The stories that each and every one of my friends shared with me about ways that they've been treated at work are disgusting. Absolutely disgusting. Why do people think they can treat other people this way? And why is it their goal to belittle people to the point of quitting? Like, aren't we supposed to be teammates? Aren't we supposed to lift each other up? And aren't we supposed to help each other succeed and fly? I'm going to give you my own personal example, and then I'm going to leave it at that because I think this is the most impactful message in this entire video. I was up for a promotion, and so was my coworker. I had damn near perfect attendance. She should have been fired many months prior due to lack of attendance. I have 0 write-ups. She has more than she probably should. Again, why does she still work there? I don't know. Based on feedback from people that were part of our interviews, I had the job in the bag. I was so excited. But wait, I didn't get the job. My coworker did. So clearly I asked my manager, what's going on? I really thought that I was going to get this job. Like, I'm not mad. I just want to understand, like, what can I improve on? My manager tells me she knows that my coworker is going to fail, and she's essentially setting her up for failure to watch her fail. So I should just be patient because my time will be coming soon. What the fuck kind of game is that? That is bullshit. Instead of playing this roundabout game, you lost an employee. So congrats.
A toxic work environment doesn't just stay at work, it follows you home. It affects your mental health, your physical well-being, and even your relationship. Some effects include chronic stress and anxiety, low self-esteem, and physical symptoms like headaches and sleeping disturbances. Now, here are some tips that can help you not to only survive but eventually thrive. Set boundaries. Learn when to say no when needed, and protect your time and energy at all costs. Set boundaries with your bosses, your co-workers, and keep things professional. Document everything. Keep records of problematic interactions like conversations, incidents, and any evidence of toxic behavior, because this can be very crucial if you need to escalate issues. Seek support. You can talk to a trusted colleague when you have a problem, or a mentor, or even a HR only when appropriate. Focus on what you can control, because you can't change others, but you can control your reactions, your mindset, and the professional growth. Now let's take a look at how people not only just survive, but eventually thrive in a toxic workplace. Let's get into it.
How do you survive and stick it out when you're in a toxic workplace? The first thing you need to know is you're not going to be able to survive forever. You might be able to squeeze 6 months out of a toxic work environment when it's really, really bad. Staying for years and years, you can, but it'll really hurt your mental health, your stability, other parts of your life, right? So 2 things when I was at HGTV that I did that really helped me stick it out for another 6 months. The first thing I did was I sat down at my desk and actually made a list of the things I actually liked about my job. And I found I liked a lot of things about the actual job, the work itself. I really enjoyed working with strategic partnerships, putting those together, traveling to other cities and other places to work with all kinds of other brands that could make the HGTV brand newer, more relevant, because it was a pretty irrelevant brand when I had come into the organization. Second thing I really loved was sales. I loved to go out with our ad sales team and really kind of sell the network, right? They were the ones who were out there in the front lines that were making it happen. They were bringing money into the organization. So I really, really enjoyed being a partner with them, helping them, going into ad agencies and brands and making pitches, right? I love that part of the job. So I found if I tried to do as much of that as I possibly could, one, it fulfilled me, and two, I got to travel a lot. So I got to leave Knoxville, which was just awful when I was in the office every day. Second thing I did, though, is I set up very firm boundaries, probably for the first time ever when I was working at the company. So I stopped putting in crazy long hours. I stopped pulling out my laptop before, in bed when I would, right before I would go to bed. I just quit. I set up normal working hours and I stuck to those hours. And when it was time to go, I said, okay, it's time to go and I'll pick it back up again tomorrow. I found that having those boundaries empowered me in a way that enabled me to sort of live to fight another day. So those are the two things that you can do, but just know you can only do that for so long. You may get 6 months out of that. And in that time, you got to take these techniques that I'm giving you and find your next role.
A toxic work environment can feel suffocating, but you're not powerless. Recognizing its signs, understanding its impact, and taking proactive steps can help you regain control of your life and career. You deserve to work in a place where you feel respected, supported, and able to grow. Thanks for watching. Bye.